A couple of you have asked the question, how did I film this? Well, this is actually using these. This is the OBSBOT Tail Air, and also this camera right here, that's the OBSBOT Tail 2. These things are incredibly easy to set up, but also can track you. I actually didn't use the tracking feature, but because they're so small compared to a digital SLR or even a vlogging camera, then you can set them all up in different places and you can actually control them together. But in this video, I'm going to show you how you set these up, all three of them, and then you can hit record simultaneously at the same time, and it's really, really easy. Now, if you're interested in any of the tail airs or the accessories that I used, I'm going to link everything underneath this video. Now, full disclaimer, OBSBOT did send me the tail airs and the tail 2 for previous reviews, and I did get to keep them. But being able to track you with the tail 2, the tail air, even their webcam, go and have a look at the previous videos I've made about OBSBOT. But let's get into it. Let me show you how this works. So we're going to go over to this space behind me, which I call the performance space. So therefore we can set it up, and then I'll show you how it's easy to hit record once, and all three cameras record at the same time. So welcome to the performance space. This is where I do the live streams, and I've got my microphone here, and just on the floor down here is the looper and everything else that I need. I use three of these, three of the tail airs. They're battery powered, like the tail 2 is, which is tracking me right now. And what's really cool about it is they have their own microphones. That's really important for video editing because you're not going to use that audio in the end shot, but what you are going to do is use that as a reference to where you are. So when you start filming, give a clap like 1, 2, 3, and then that you can see that later on. The other thing that I used as well on my mic stand is this, and this I've used, and I've done a video about this as well. This is a 3D arm by Gravity Stands. I'll put this in the actual description as well, and these are really, really handy because you can put them pretty much anywhere. So I'm going to use this and put this on the mic stand, and all I do is make sure that it is a specific way round, so then the tail air can sit on it. It's got a 1/4" thread on the bottom. All the cameras have got a 1/4" thread to put on a tripod, and just a little adapter here to have a tripod or 1/4" thread adapter. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it on here and adjust it onto the mic stand. And the great thing is that's the one that will end up like looking down, as it were. So if I put this on here, and then we can screw this onto the 3D arm. Now, even if it's not facing the right way initially, the great thing is even if it was like facing that way, you can turn it round so you can actually get it to face the way that you want it to. And that's exactly what I did. So I've used a small tripod here, this tripod, to actually put this one on, and we put it on the floor, pointing at the pedal board, so pointing at the back of the pedal board. So you can see my feet as I made changes. And the other one was using a small grip made by Small Rig, and all I did was attach it to the keyboard stand here and then point it down, make sure it's pointing in the way of the pedal board. Next is the tail 2. I just put the tail 2 in a very specific look. It's tracking me right now, so I'm going to get it to stop tracking me. And then I'm just going to put it in the position that I put it in. And the great thing with this is that you can position it in a certain way. This has a 5x optical zoom. So what that means is it will still look great if it's zoomed in, and I'm just going to pop it into the place I put it in right now. There we go. So it's actually moved into a specific position such that I've actually framed it around sort of like the wall and the lights and stuff. So while I'm playing, you can still see the guitar, and that's all fine. You can see me singing, and that's great. And then the only other camera I used, which wasn't from OBSBOT, was, as I said, my digital SLR, which is over there anyway, and just pointing directly at me. And that's the center camera that you saw. And then the next part of this is showing you how we get all these talking to each other. Now, before I show you how I hit record on all of these, just a quick one for you. If you're interested in the Sheeran Looper X, I'm now making a full course on it. And that course is actually on my website at the moment. I'm currently making it at the moment, and it's under construction. That's why I've got those cameras there, and also why the Sheeran Looper X is on the floor. So if you're interested in this course is going to be out for $197. However, whilst it's under construction, it's on a massive 40% discount. So you can pre-buy it and then get a huge discount. It's one price and it's lifetime access. And we're going to go through so much on the course, right from the very beginning, all the way up to how Ed uses it, and actually we're going to go further than that. Now, the only caveat is that once I've finished the course, which is going to be in a couple of weeks' time, that discount is going to go. So if you are interested in the Sheeran Looper X course, there's a link in the description box that will take you straight to that page with the 40% discount applied. Or just go to my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk. Now, let me show you how I press record once and all 3 of these cameras record at the same time. But also I can monitor them as well without any additional hardware. Okay, so we've got them all set up. We've got this one over here, and I can just reposition that, no problem. You can actually see one of them just here, and that's pointing on the side. And then you've got the other one just there. And then you've got the other one just, there, pointing down. And then the thing is, if you have a computer, you've got OBSBOT Center, but the easier one actually is using your phone. There's an app which is called OBSBOT Live, and it's actually meant so you can live stream directly from your device, which is really, really cool. But you can also control the cameras from there and hit record. And when you hit record on one, all 3 record at the same time. The alternative you can do, of course, you can get the OBSBOT remote and you pair them all up, and then you can hit record on this, which is cool because you can just hit record on one and all 3 go. But if you haven't got that and you've got your tail air and you want to control it remotely, maybe it's up high somewhere, or it's like, you know, on a balcony pointing down and you're downstairs, something like that, you're doing a performance, then this is a great option. So what you can do is we can go into the OBSBOT Live app, and it is meant for live streaming, but if you go into platform streaming and we go into there, it asks you whether you want it in landscape or portrait, and we can go, sure, we're going to go into landscape. The app's found all the cameras that are available, including the front and back camera of this device. Now the OBSBOT Live app takes up to 3 cameras, and we've got more than 3 here. Now I'm not going to use the Tail 2 because we're filming on it right now, and I'm not going to use the front and back cameras of my phone. But just be aware that if you're live streaming, you could use the front camera of this or the back camera of this and a tail air. That's quite cool. So we're going to use the tail airs as the example. So I'm going to click and select the 3 tail airs. And then now I've added 3, you can see the others have grayed out, and we go start using. It's then going to ask me what Wi-Fi are we connected to. So I'm going to connect to my home Wi-Fi. If you are out and about, then you do also need a router for this, just to use as a bridge to connect everything together. So I'm going to connect to the Wi-Fi, just let that do its job, and it connects all 3 cameras to the same Wi-Fi. And it's doing it remotely. There's no cables going on right now. As you can see, we've got weird looking angles on all these different cameras. We can turn each one individually and see them, and we can have different canvases if we want to. So we can see the individual cameras, and then in a minute we're going to be able to move them around. So there's the first camera right now. It's pointing at the sky, so I need to move it so it's pointing at the looper. The second one you've actually got is just slightly off camber, and then the third one that's not in the right position either. So we need to move them. And then we've also got canvas. So if you do want to do picture-in-picture like live streaming, you can. We don't need to, so we can turn these off. Once we've actually got this through, we go to the next step. We then get into, and we have to move the phone around this way, we now get into being able to use the cameras. And you can see the 3 cameras at the top. So let's sort out the first one. So we're going to go into the little gear icon just in the top left-hand corner. And then what I can do is I can actually move them, and I can just start moving them around. So I'm going to move this camera so it is in the right position. There we go. Let's move you down a little bit. Now it's filming upside down, as it were, right now. So in post-production, I'd turn it round, but you could position it in such a way that it's, you know, in a different position. That's up to you. So now I've got a top down of the pedal board. That's exactly what we wanted to see. The other thing I can do as well is I can zoom in, but I don't want to. So I can click the X on gimbal and view, and then click the other X as well. And then that's our first one. The second one is just slightly out. So again, we'll click the gear icon and we'll go into gimbal and view, and we'll move this. And the whole point of this view was to just so you guys could see me, you know, press and play on the looper. There we go. The other thing you can do as well is while you're in this gimbal and view is you can tap to focus, just like you can on an iPhone camera. So I can tap to where to focus, and a little yellow box comes up, and that's the point of focus. So let's go back into the first one and make sure we've got tap to focus done on there as well. So we'll go in to gimbal and view. We'll give it a tap to focus, just so it knows to focus at that level. And then the third one, again, the third one is a little bit out. It's just telling me there's a low battery warning. But let's just tilt this down a little bit. And with this one, what I did as well is I zoomed in a little bit. So we zoom in a little bit like that. And I'm just, as I say, use my finger to move it around where I want it to be. Now, the cool thing with the app is, as I said, if I actually click on here, it says, are you sure you want to start live streaming to YouTube? Because I've got this set up for YouTube, but I'm not doing that. Above it, you can see it says sort of like camera with hold. If I tap it, all 3 cameras are recording at the same time. They've all just started recording together. And they're all flashing, they're all recording right now. And if I then tap it again, all 3 cameras hear that beep, they've just stopped. If I hold this down, the cool thing is I can film the end result as if it was a live stream. What it's done is it's recorded on each one. This is called ISO recording. So it's recorded to the SD cards of each individual one, and then I can see the SD cards of each one and how much it's taken, so I know it's not going to take up too much. The other one as well on the app, which I really like, is this little sort of 2 faders. So if I go to the 2 faders right now, I've got a live, I've got a monitor, you've got the tail air, and then we can say always open, and we can say that one's always open, and then we've got that one's always open. And now I can actually do my 1, 2, 3, and I can see that the audio is being picked up by the cameras, which I'm not going to use that audio, but I'm going to use that for referencing how to video edit. But again, a great visual representation of what's going on live at the time. Now you could live stream right from here, just with these 3 cameras. If I repositioned one of them to be, on my face, and then we can move across, and you've got things like transitions, so we can transition between one to the other. You've got layers on. It is a live streaming app, but at the same time, I just love the fact that above live stream, you've got that little tap button to record, and then this is my monitor. This is my monitor to check that the cameras are doing what I want them to do. They're static at the moment, but if they were following me, then I can check it, or if I'm using the audio from them, I can check that as well. Now, if you are in a remote location and you don't have any plugs anywhere, then these will run off a power bank. So if you've got a USB-C power bank, you can do that, which is really easy. Now, when recording any performance with multiple cameras and multiple audio sources, because also there's the audio from the looper and the speaker going out as well, is when you're putting it into a video editor, the first thing I would always do when you're recording something is go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And make sure that your hands are seen and you can be heard. That way you can test the audio from every device, and then also at the same time that when it comes to syncing it all up, every camera's got a microphone, and then when you clap you can see a big spike, and you can just marry those spikes up. And that's it, you're good to go. Then it's just down to where you position the cameras, whether you're chopping and changing from one thing to another, or you're showing multiple cameras at the same time. The great thing is they've got their own SD cards. So you just take the SD card out for each camera, put it into your computer or your iPad or whatever you're editing on, and then you just import it in. Yes, it is a lot of footage, but then also it looks kind of cool. I just want to thank OBSBOT for sending the cameras out and also sponsoring the channel, because they've changed the way I use cameras, and for me, it's made it so much easier. For any musician or performer who's looking for a camera that will track you, or you're looking for a way to film in a really unique way or an easier way, Tail Airs, the Tail 2, even the OBSBOT webcams are fan-flipping-tastic, and I would highly recommend them. Now, if you haven't seen me do that performance of Azizam by Ed Sheeran using the Sheeran Looper X, then go and watch it. That's the next video that's come up on screen. And the other video is actually all about this camera, the Tail 2. This is my main production camera now. I'm using this as opposed to my digital SLR, which now is my top-down camera. And this thing's awesome because it can do so many more things than a normal digital SLR can do. Go check it out.